All right, so here we are, the final explainer in our three-part series on the science behind face recognition systems. We've gone through the how, and now we're going to get into the why it matters. We're moving beyond the code to explore the very real human consequences, the accuracy, the bias, and the ethics that will, for sure, define our future with this technology. Just let that sink in for a second. We trust these systems with the most personal thing we have, our own face. It feels so seamless, so easy. But what happens when that trust is broken? This is where the story gets really complicated. And it's where we have to start asking some tough questions.
You know, to really get a handle on the risks, we first have to appreciate the sheer, unblinking power of what we're talking about here.
So, we've covered how a machine learns to pick a face out of a crowd and measure its unique features. But today, we're stepping out of the lab and into the messy, complicated real world, where the stakes are just infinitely higher.
And this is the incredible promise of Face AI, right? A seamless, tireless way to handle security and identification. But you have to wonder, a mirror that never blinks can also reflect our deepest flaws. And a memory that never ever forgets, well, that can start to feel like a prison.
Okay, so here's a crucial point. Perfect accuracy? It's a myth. It just is. In the real world, Face AI can and absolutely does fail. And how it fails, that matters immensely.
Let's break this down, because it's super important. On one hand, you've got a false positive. This is when the AI confidently points to an innocent person and says, yep, that's them. It's seeing a connection that just isn't there, a ghost in the data. On the other hand, a false negative is when the AI is blind to a connection that is there. It looks right at the truth and sees nothing.
And these two errors have completely different consequences in our lives. A false negative? It might be an inconvenience. Maybe you can't get into a building. Or at worst, it's a security risk. But a false positive? That can lead to a wrongful arrest, a total loss of liberty, a life completely derailed because of a phantom in the data. The ethical harm here, it is not symmetrical, not even close.
And look, these errors don't just happen in a vacuum. The real world is messy. Dim lighting in a parking garage, a person turning their head, a blurry security camera, even a hand covering your mouth, all these totally normal things can cause a state-of-the-art system to fail, sometimes dramatically.
And this leads us to a really dangerous psychological trap, automation bias. When a human reviewer sees a super grainy image that even they can't make out, but the computer flashes match, there's this powerful urge to just trust the machine. So the AI's failure gets compounded by our own blind faith, turning what should be a helpful tool into an uncritical oracle.
But what if the problem isn't just bad lighting or blurry photos? What if the bias is baked right into the architecture of the system from the very beginning? AI models, they learn from the data we feed them. So what happens when that data is massively imbalanced? I mean, if the training photos are overwhelmingly from one demographic, the AI becomes a world-class expert on recognizing that one group, but it stays a total novice on pretty much everyone else.
This is such a powerful way to think about it. It's like an imbalanced classroom. The algorithm simply doesn't get enough practice. It doesn't get enough homework, recognizing the features of underrepresented groups. So of course it has higher error rates for them. Its vision of humanity is skewed from day one.
And you can just see the whole pathway here. It starts with that imbalanced data. Then, we humans come in and layer on our own subjective labels. And finally, when this flawed system is put out into the world, our trust in automation just amplifies all the harm, leading to what some scholars call a digital stop and frisk. It's where historical biases, say in policing, get encoded into an automated system that then just perpetuates the same old inequality.
So, this brings us to a much bigger question. What does it mean for our society to live under the constant potential of being seen and identified? This isn't just about my privacy or your privacy. It's about our collective freedom.
This idea here is absolutely crucial. Collective autonomy. It's the freedom to exist in public, to protest, to meet up, to just be, without that feeling that you're being watched and recorded. Pervasive face surveillance, it just eats away at this freedom. It creates a chilling effect on our ability to express ourselves and assemble.
And where do the images to build these systems come from? Well, often they're scraped right from our social media profiles without any meaningful consent from us.
Just because we post a photo online doesn't mean we've agreed for it to be used to train some surveillance algorithm. It's a fundamental breach of trust between us and the platforms we use every day.
Okay, so these are some profound challenges, no doubt about it. But the story doesn't end here. All over the world, researchers and ethicists are working on a path forward, building systems that aren't just more powerful, but are actually more fair.
And this path is being built on some really promising new tech. We're talking about 3D recognition, which is way less fooled by bad lighting. There's explainable AI, which basically forces the model to show its work. And then there's federated learning, which allows an AI to get smarter without ever seeing your raw personal data.
Explainable AI is a total game changer. Instead of just getting a yes or no answer, match or no match, the system has to give a reason, a justification that can actually be looked at in a court of law. This moves us away from blind faith and toward informed trust.
And federated learning. This is a radical shift toward privacy. Imagine the AI model being sent to your phone to learn instead of your face data being sent to some central server. Your most sensitive information stays with you, right where it belongs.
But technology by itself isn't enough. We also need strong governance. This means things like mandatory public audits to check for bias, strict rules for handling our data, and most importantly, making sure a human is always in the loop for the big decisions. The AI has to remain a tool, not the final authority.
So, as we wrap up this whole series, we're left with a really profound choice, not just about technology, but about the future we want to build. And this right here, this is the heart of it all. The goal isn't just to get to 100% technical perfection. It's about embedding our highest values, fairness, justice, respect for human dignity right into the code itself. It's about creating an intelligence that reflects the best of us, not our worst biases.